Please pirate anime. So I was on this Reddit thread the other day. I think it was like Welcome to NHK or something, but it doesn't matter. Some guy on it posted. He was asking where to stream the show legally, and everybody was commenting on it that you can't stream it legally anywhere. They told him to buy the DVD, and he just said, "Okay, I'll just wait for it to go legal." And he's never gonna watch it. I don't get what's with this whole debate with anime people over pirating. Because for anime, Japanese stuff in general, that is the easiest shit to pirate in the world. You don't need to know garbage. You don't need to know torrenting. You don't know anything. You can just look up like 9 anime TO, go to that, watch anything you want. But no, these people still have such a connection and an aversion to pirating that they just want to watch everything legally, but that shit doesn't matter. Example, let's say you want to watch Gurren Lagann, okay? And huge show, everybody knows what it is, right? You want to watch Gurren Lagann, but you don't have Netflix. Everybody has Netflix, but you don't have Netflix, so you can't watch it anywhere. So instead of streaming it, like you don't want to buy a subscription to anything, that might not be economically feasible for you. So, I mean, what? It's 24 episodes, you can buy it on DVD, and you can watch it on DVD. That's fair, right? I mean, what? DVDs are gonna cost you like really nothing, 20, 30 bucks. So you go online, you go to buy the Gurren Lagann Blu-ray or DVD, and holy shit. Okay. But let's say you're reasonable. You're okay with spending like 10 bucks for Netflix? I don't know. But you're okay with buying Netflix. And you buy Netflix for a couple months, so you can watch the show. And you watch halfway through it, the month passes, and it's taken off. It's, for the time being, let's just say it is not on any streaming services whatsoever. So what do? I mean, your only option now is to buy the super expensive Blu-ray. And that is super expensive for a show that short. So you just don't watch it? Okay, here's another example. Let's say you want to watch, it's an anime, Planet Test. It's pretty old. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's, I think, early 2000s, but it's boomer shit. But it's really good. And let's say, okay, I tell you to watch it, for the 5 people watching this. I'm like, hey, go watch Planet Test. So you, on your computer, you go, okay, I'm gonna go watch this show. So you look it up, and it's not legally streaming anywhere, but you can buy a DVD. So you look up the DVD, and it's out of print. So here's the problem here. A lot of people, when you post the threads, you talk to anime people, a lot of people on these forums, or just people in general, they'll tell you to buy the DVD, no matter what. You should always buy the DVD. And in a lot of cases, if you can't legally stream it, you probably can't buy the DVD new. And you're like, okay, that's fine. I mean, the secondhand market can be insane, but you're okay with shelling out the money because you want to buy the DVD for this legit. You want to legit own whatever show or movie you want to watch, right? So you'll buy the DVD. But if you buy the DVD, nothing goes back to the original creators. And if you're okay with watching whatever it is, and not having any of the proceeds go back to the original creators, then you're just pirating it. Okay, here's a more direct example here. Let's say after his death, you want to go watch Berserk, right? You've heard so much stuff about it, you've heard it's really good, and you want to watch the old Berserk, which is a great show, I'd really recommend it. So you want to watch the old Berserk, right? And you look it up and not streaming anywhere. Can't buy the DVD either, but it's all streaming right there on YouTube. Now, none of that's going to anybody. There's no copyright on it, so it's all just on YouTube. But none of that proceeds or anything is going to any of the original creators, any of the animators, the original it's going to nothing, okay? So, what do you do here? I mean, are you really, like, if you're against piracy, and that is piracy, that is very easy, but that is piracy, but if you're against it, are you just gonna say, never watch the show? Never watch the original Berserk because you can't pay the original people. And in a lot of cases, especially with these older shows, even if you're buying the DVDs, like if you're buying the DVDs to any of these older shows, like let's say they're re-released or let's say they're streaming, the money from that show is not going to the original people. Something that old, something from the 90s or even the early 2000s, whatever team worked on it, whatever the creators had on it or whatever, if it's being reissued, that means the copyright is probably held by somebody completely different. Okay, but first off, to watch anything, you would need at least 5 subscriptions to a bunch of different websites. Because you'd need Netflix for their originals, you'd probably need Hulu because they have a backlog of stuff, you'd need Prime because they have newer stuff, you need HBO Max because they have some seasonal shows on it, they have a couple here and there, right? I mean, there are the other Verve, there are a ton of other anime streaming services, you'd have a Crunchyroll subscription, you'd have a Funimation subscription, so okay, let's say you're subscribed to every single one of these sites. Okay? Let's say you're subscribed to all of these, which is going to be so expensive and such a huge waste of money. But let's say this hypothetical person that definitely exists, there are definitely tons of them out here, is subscribed to every single anime streaming service possible and every other one that has anime on it, alright? Let's just say that's the case. And you know what? Great. These people probably feel so great about themselves. They're supporting everybody. They have all of these services. They're not pirating, you know? They're not doing all the shit we're doing. They're better than us. So, you know, they sit down with their $10,000 monthly subscription and they look at all their websites, they look at everything they have to see, and what do they watch? And I know this sounds stupid, but I mean, seriously, you have all these other subscription services. You've got to have a lot of anime, right? So, I mean, what do you watch? You've got to have a great selection. I mean, there's got to be an incredible selection between all of these different streaming services, right? Well, I'd say no. Because whatever is going to be on, especially the main ones, you're going to have more niche shit on, you know, all of the very specific anime streaming sites. But the main big ones, what they're going to have are big anime shows, which aren't necessarily good shows. They're just whatever's popular and whatever has like a mass market appeal, right? So, you know, your very typical stuff. So really, the backlog would all be just the mass market, like typical anime stuff, and then you would get added on occasional seasonal shows, right? So that's what you'd be watching. You'd only be watching what everybody else is watching, what everybody else is talking about, because people are talking about what's easily accessible on these streaming services. So what you're watching and what you like is going to become the exact same as what everybody else likes. So if you're doing this and you're watching everything that's on these newer streaming sites, only everything you're going to be watching is going to be mainly stuff from the last 14, 15 years and seasonal stuff. So what's going to happen from that is that your taste is going to just align perfectly with all of that, all of the popular mass media shows, and your idea of anime and everything around that is going to just become that like straight like otaku anime line, you know what I mean? So, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you like all the popular shows out, if you like everything on Netflix, if you like all that, that's fine. But what my problem with it is by encouraging only going by what's streamable, you're encouraging such like a bland taste and like like such a surface level understanding of anime. This sounds pretentious. Just hear me out. Okay, I'm sounding like an asshole here. Nobody's watching this part, so it doesn't matter. But let me explain. With any medium of art at all, if you were only consuming the most popular, the most discussed elements of it, then you're losing out so much. And this is just a problem I think with all media these days, is that just people need to enjoy what they enjoy instead of curbing their interests to whatever's popular, to whatever people are talking about at the time. And with anime especially, this is a huge problem. A lot of it is within seasonal stuff, with a lot of people, a lot of new anime fans only watching seasonal shows, only watching streamable shows, only watching what people talk about, and what you can like easily find is really bad because your taste and what you like is not important there. What's important is just communication with other people and like the culture around it, right? So many anime fans and so much of like the otaku culture in the West, at least, is really just like surrounded around 2 shows every season. You know, like 20 shows of the past 15 years. It is all around a very specific part of time and a really specific like genre, you know, people, like directors. Like, I'm so sick of just hearing the same 10 shows discussed over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And even without any of that conversation going on, there's so much out there. I mean, for me, animation and especially anime is just, it's such an incredible like medium for storytelling and directing, and there's so much you can do with it. And I think it's there's so many different avenues you can take. There's so many different stories you can tell, genres you can go through, ways to tell them. So there's so much you can explore. There's so much out there that limiting yourself just to what's streamable alone, I mean, that's just, you're really screwing yourself over there, right? And by pirating, you really get this, you get an opportunity to explore way beyond everything else. If a show isn't, easily accessible, it doesn't mean it's bad. That just means like maybe not a lot of people are talking about it. Maybe it's interesting to you. Maybe it's not. And there are years and like decades and decades of art that you're just completely missing out on because you're insisting on not pirating anything. On top of really realistically, like most of the stuff you pirate really isn't hurting anybody. On top of the discussion and like your tastes in general, just at its very core, you are missing out on what could potentially be very, very good art, or like a really good show, a really good movie. You're completely missing out on it because you're too afraid to pirate it. So remember, I mean, especially if a DVD is out of print, if it's not streaming anywhere, in that case, you're definitely not hurting anybody by pirating, okay? And even if it is on some streaming service that you don't have, and you can't buy the DVD or you don't have the money for it, still stream it, pirate it illegally or whatever. And if you want to support whatever you just pirated, then buy the DVD new from a retailer, or buy new figures from a retailer too. And if you like, that's the other thing. Streaming really isn't that big of a market cap in the West. I get that a lot of people say that you should stream stuff so more services know to get more anime, so then more anime is supported here. But streaming is really a tiny portion of where they actually make most of their money from. If you want to support them, then go to like an anime website, buy new Blu-rays. Even if you don't have a Blu-ray player, just buy new Blu-rays when they come out of whatever season of a show you'd like it. You can, and buy new figures. And if it's based off a manga, buy new editions of the manga, and then that's the best way of supporting everybody. Streaming doesn't really come into it at all. So don't be afraid to pirate. It's fine. You're not going to get arrested or anything. It's really no big deal. Just remember to stay safe if you're doing it. Install these extensions, comment if you want, links to all of them. Nobody's watching this anyway. But just anybody that tells you not to pirate is an idiot, okay? Go for it and have a good day. I hope if you watch this, thanks.